All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Tuesday. It's crazy how quick things change in this portal era because just like an hour ago or so, I was about to make a totally different stream, like with a whole different vibe. And I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. It was going to be basically like, let's just fire everybody now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point in waiting around? Let's just get them all fired right this second. And now, man, things look totally different. I feel great. I've been talking to people and I've got a whole lot of information. We'll be sharing it with y'all today. We'll give y'all like a little bit of a peek into what the members get on Patreon and on YouTube. Just as far as I'm gonna try to guide you towards some things, but I'm not just gonna flat out, say some things. Some things I actually will. But I'm feeling very good about where Tennessee's at right now inside of this transfer portal, man. I think that they did have a plan like we talked about previously, and it feels like this plan is getting executed. So thank you to everybody that's joining us right now. Y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And let me try to tap into the chat. I see that there's several coming in. Members and super chats go first. So this one right here from my dog, J-Pat, saying GBO, F-U-G-A, you already know, dog. Putting my metal roof on. Okay. So doing some work. All right, cool, man. Always good to have work to do, man. That's always a very positive thing. Let me see what some other folks are saying straight out the gate. So this one's talking about a 5-star combo kicker / punter. Wow. Okay. We're actually going to talk about a kicker, but it's not this kid. So Cajun Vol, appreciate you for bringing that to us. It's a guy from Florida State. Sounds like Tennessee needs to be targeting. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to get that done. Okay. Saying that I must know something that you don't know. Yeah, man. Maybe I do. Maybe we'll be able to fill you in on some things that y'all haven't already seen. I know that there are a couple of things maybe I could fill y'all in on. And love this one right here, man. Please do make sure to do that as soon as y'all come in. That helps us out in a major way. All right, so look, go Vols. This one right here, go Vols. And then Sam is saying that Hurd was extremely overpaid. Dude made $1.8 million last year to be a little above average. All right. So let me go on ahead and tap into really like the first thing that we're going to do every day until we get a new strength coach. Scott Cochran's out there. All right. I think we're in a good spot to go land some good players. Great spot, really. But they still need a really good strength coach. So go and get Scott Cochran. I know that he's the head coach at West Alabama, but tell him whatever you need to or do whatever you have to. Hey, we can double your salary. We'll bring you in. He's the GOAT. His resume speaks for itself. There's some other good names out there. I always tell y'all I really like Tommy Moffitt. I don't know if he's going to be coming back, but there are some other good names. Just go and get a good freaking strength coach and start at the top with Scott Cochran. Figure out that whole situation. If it's not a good situation, then obviously you just move on to the next best person. But start off with the best first. And also, got to slow down on that tempo, right? Like we have to slow that down. It's hurting us more than it's helping us. All right. Like we have to be able to really run some offenses. We have to be able to come up to the line of scrimmage and decide what play we're going to run if the first one isn't going to work. And we got to keep our defense off the freaking field. We need for our offensive linemen to not be so gassed and so on and so forth. Okay. So let me talk about some players. And we talked about this, I think, yesterday, players that are trending to Tennessee. And up at the top, Ori Williams, offensive lineman, offensive tackle from LSU, 6'8", 335, right? Y'all can see some of his numbers and all of that. He has committed to our Tennessee Volunteers. Now, I've watched him on film. We're going to have a film breakdown that comes out for our members, and y'all can join us on YouTube by clicking on the join button just below this video or on Patreon at patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. But he is good, man. And I think that was a really, really good pickup. Obviously Tennessee needs to add some more offensive linemen. And he's a guy that I feel like he could come in and he could start. And excuse me, there's been some questions about, does it make sense for him to start a right tackle over Jesse Perry? I don't know. And what I'm kind of hoping happens is once they come up on campus, it's a real competition. And we play our best starting five. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. And that's what it feels like will happen. So I'll just put it out there like that. Now, let's move on to the transfer portal checklist, okay? From where I'm sitting at, we need about 13 different things. So we've got 2 of those 13. We've got an offensive lineman, all right? So I said we needed 1. Actually, I could make the argument that we might need 2. Looks like Tennessee's still going to target a guard. We'll talk about that in just a second. We also got a nickel. Now, I've got nickel separated from star because I don't think that they're quite the same thing, especially not in this coach no system. I don't think that Quay Moss, who's a really good player, I don't think that he's a star. I think that he's a nickel. He needs to be playing out in space more. Don't really want to play in the box area, right? But I think that we got two very good players. There's still a lot of holes for us to fill. But I do think that we're going to be able to get those holes filled. Now, let me move forward, man. These are all of our portal visitors. Y'all can see the ones on the left side is who we know at least should be coming up, okay? The ones on the right probably will be coming up. Actually, I'm going to start off right there because Campbell, the linebacker from Penn State, it sounds like we're in a tremendous spot for him, just like tremendous. So I would anticipate that he's going to be coming up here very, very soon. And once he does come up, I don't think it's going to take long for him to get those papers signed and be joining us, man. So that crosses off one of the check boxes, right? Linebacker would be done at that point. Under him, Kua Rusaw from Alabama, edge rusher. I think he's like 6'2", 240, whatever. He's a freaking stud, all right? At first, didn't sound like Tennessee was in the best spot. I know that we had reached out to him almost as soon as he hit the portal. But it didn't sound like any visitor or any of that was being set up. It sounds like that's about to happen. And then his teammate who plays defensive tackle, James Smith, he's probably going to be coming up on a visit too. We need both of those guys, right? Like, well, I would say for sure, like we need that defensive tackle. Like that is definitely have to have at least two of those guys. And then we have a new kicker. So I know that we talked about one to kind of start things off from Florida State. Might be a better option, right? So I think that information may have come out after what I saw. And Cooper Ranvier, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. He's like 6'2", 200. I think that his longest from last year was 51 yards. I think he was 2 of 5 from 40 plus. Maybe that was 45 plus. I have to go in and actually watch him. But whenever P saw his picture, he said the same thing that I was thinking. He was like, he looks like a guy that, thinks that he's all that basically. And I was like, that's exactly what you want. And he was like, facts. So that's what you want to do. Go out and get a very confident guy at kicker that's not going to be scared of the moment. And just go get confident players, period. Like, get players that do have that almost like, I almost want to say cocky, but I don't think cocky is the right word. But just, I don't even know if arrogance, but just like teetering closer to that. Because you need players like that, man. Like, you're playing on a huge stage, and you're going to make mistakes sometimes, but you just got to have the confidence to come back and get it right the next time. Like, I can live with that. I'm not asking for anybody to be perfect. But, yes, this makes me feel fantastic because earlier today, the linebacker Campbell, he was on the list, but the other three weren't. So that makes me feel a lot better. At least we're targeting all of our needs. And y'all might be saying outside of quarterback. We're going to get to that in just a second. But looking to the left side, really like Lyric Rawls, safety from Kansas. I think that he's up today. Then to the right of him, we got Gilliam, defensive tackle from Penn State. I don't know if we're in the best spot for him. What I will say, though, is I think that we were in a very good spot before he left campus because Chaz Coleman really sounds like the only reason he even visited was because of Gilliam telling him, hey, Tennessee's actually nice. So for me, Chaz Coleman's probably not going to happen because, again, he was pretty much like, well, I guess I'll go if you say it's nice. I'll go and check him out. I read what he had to say post-visit. Didn't sound like he really liked Tennessee. So he's going to see the Buckeyes later on today. Might pick them. He might pick LSU. I don't know, but I don't think that he's picking us. So wanted to kind of like cross those two guys off. I still think that we could get Gilliam. He's visiting somebody today. I don't remember who that is, but it's like one of those bigger schools. It's not Texas Tech, is it? Either way, the guy next to him, the kid from Wake Forest, he's already visited Texas Tech. I think he was supposed to be visiting Notre Dame today. Sounds like he might not even make it to the Notre Dame visit, so he won't get to see us. He's supposed to be coming up on Wednesday, so might not get him either. So that's why I'm saying defensive tackle is just like a very strong pressing need because it was already a huge need for us. And it feels like the guys that we know will be visiting might not land either one of those guys. Okay, so Adam Trick, defensive end, love him. He's supposed to be up, I think, today, actually. So hopefully that goes well. We'll talk about another. Actually, let me go ahead and do that right now because there is another defensive end that I would like to talk to y'all about. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So this kid right here, Damon Wilson from the Missouri Tigers at 6'4", 250. Excellent size. He's from Venice, Florida. I don't know if that's South Florida or not, but he's very, very good. Okay. I would actually say that I mean, listen, don't even think about Chaz Coleman. He's better than Chaz Coleman. He's a significant upgrade from Chaz Coleman. So I'm really not even worried about that. But you can see his stats, right? How many sacks did he have this past season? 9. So he's a guy that I would absolutely love for Tennessee to, be in on. I don't know if we are at this point or not. But man, listen, absolutely outstanding. And actually, looks like we got a super chat that just came in. I have to get to this, man, bro. Come on, man. This is crazy. So from Tin Vols, he's saying that we're on a roll here, and that the grind doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for that. Yeah, man. Go Big Orange. Let me play this clip for you, dog. And actually, you know what? I think that we need to play that one more time, man. Man, Tin Vols, appreciate you, bro. That was huge, man. Let me actually, while we're here, let me tap into more of these chats. So we're gonna be getting to the members and super chats first. And actually, this is another big one from Adam Lee, who is now a member on YouTube. Appreciate that, Adam. And let me play this clip for you, dog. All right, so let me see. Adam actually follows up with the chat here, saying that he's been following us for quite some time and that he just joined. Man, I'm so happy to have you part of it too. We got plenty of content for you. Actually, what we just put out for our members earlier today is Jim Knowles basically breaking down his system. Breaking down so he runs a 4-2-5. But what he's breaking down is how the more 3-3-5 version of his defense looks. You get to learn some of the terminologies that he uses, the types of players that he's looking for. So go and definitely check that one out if you want to know how this defense could potentially look. And I think that we've got people who could fit into his system very well. Like Leo, for him, if it's more of the 3-3-5, I think Jeremiah Thielander is a perfect fit. And I've said it, man. Thielander has value on this team, a lot more than some people might think. I think that he would be a serious problem in this Jim Knowles system if we're running that version of the 3-3-5. All right, so let me get to some more of this right here from Pat. Saying that Cochran coming from Saban Tree too. Yep. These guys are winning. Yep. Kurt, Kirby. Yeah. Talking about Kirby for sure. Let me see what else we got in here. All right, so Gryffindor is saying that knows. Oh yeah, the breakdown for the defense. Yeah, man. Yes, sir. So we was just talking about that. Brian Lemons is saying it looks like Williams is the tackle and Perry is the swing man. Do we still go get a swing offensive lineman? So I think that's an excellent point. And I kind of hinted at what I think is probably happening. And I don't, and you know what? Look, we're going to follow up this one with something for all of our members. So, we'll finish that conversation there, but I don't know if I want to put that out here. Not quite yet. So let me just kind of finish up with all the things that I'm saying. Damon Wilson, got to go get him because I think that if you add him, if you hold on to Jordan Ross, those might be your 2 starters on the outside. Then you bring in Adam Trick, who's also a freaking stud. Along with what we already have, man, that defensive line, those ends are incredible. I mean, it is incredible. It's going to be one of the best groups of ends that Tennessee's had in a long time. So I'm looking forward to that. Who else do we got up here that I need to talk about? So Quez White, he's from Troy. He's a cornerback. Love him on film, 6'1", 190. Sounds like Tennessee's in a really, really good spot for him. So that could be one of the cornerbacks that we need. I think that we need 3 more we need 2 more, I think, true cornerbacks. Maybe 3, but he will be 1. All right, and then we got another corner next to him, Kyan Lee from Auburn. And really out of all the Auburn cornerbacks, he might be the best. So it was either him or it was Crawford. Those 2 guys are very, very good. Now, I can give y'all a little bit of inside flavor right here because this is going to be newer news, but it's something that we gave to our members weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Kyan Lee, I think he's visiting the Buckeyes right now. If he makes it out of that visit, I think Tennessee's in a very good spot because he was the favorite. Or I'm sorry, they were the favorite. So I think that if we could get him on campus, there could be a pretty strong chance that we could land him. Doesn't mean that it's a slam dunk, but that would be gigantic, right? Because one of those 2 guys, fights for the starting spot on the opposite side of Tyler Redmond, and we got a whole lot of length, We got some big guys that are physical on the outside, and then I would try to go maybe add one more corner to those two. But already y'all are starting to see that if we can hit on a good portion of the guys that we're looking at here, doesn't have to be all of them, which like who we're talking about. I think that we probably will end up getting them, bro. Like we've already knocked the freaking portal out of the park. You know what I'm saying? Like we've killed the daggone transfer portal. But we also have Kanye Thompson. So Kanye Thompson, he would be another corner. And he's coming from like a smaller school. I haven't got to watch him play just yet, but he's a track guy. So like 6 feet, close to 170. Track guy, need that speed. Man, you add those three right there on that whole row with what we already have. You have to love the secondary now because now the secondary is actually deep. So that would feel great. Okay, so as far as House, so just moving down to that next row. House from North Carolina. I think that we're only going to be taking one linebacker. It's probably going to be Campbell from Penn State. So you can just cross him off, I guess. Unless you want to take two, which I'm not. I mean, if you can take them both, take them both. Why not? And then next to that, this is a guard. His name is Dylan, coming from Oregon State. I like the fact that we're trying to target some more guys that can play on the inside because we obviously need depth. Like losing Max Anderson, most people haven't really talked about that. I do think that that was sort of an issue because you have to have multiple guys. I think that we still have some good players, but you want to add, like, if you lose a Max Anderson, who do you have that's kind of maybe equal to a Max Anderson or better? And I don't know about this kid Dylan because I haven't watched him yet, but I'm hoping that he's about on that same level. All right, so obviously we've already talked about Williams, so I think that was a huge pickup. Then we have Zylan Perry, running back. I think that he's probably maybe finalizing his deal. That's what I think Austin Price and all those guys said. So that would be good, but I think that we're only going to be taking one running back, Cam Cook from UConn. I think that he's a guy that we would really also maybe entertain. He's supposed to be up there today. So if Cam Cook wants to get in the boat, would you take him first, or would you say, hey, Perry, you got to hold off? I don't know how they handle that, but I still feel like go and get a bigger running back. And also, man, like for the offense, stop playing favorites, man. Like it needs to be real competition and you need to play the best players. I think that there's a lot of politics. I think that there are some players that just get more burned, and maybe just because they're from Tennessee. I think things like that are happening. I'm just going to throw it out there. Like Justin Baker is a dog. There's no reason that he's not being talked about more than what he is. And I'm just hoping and praying that he gets a fair shake. If you give him a fair shake, the running back room is going to look better than what some people think. You know, and I've seen him play. Like I know the cloth that he's cut from. Give more people real opportunities, and not just at running back, but every freaking where. You have to do that. Okay, so let me tap back into this chat. So this one right here is from Luke. Tonight, if it's a championship roster, it's because the freshmen. Okay, so you think that it will be more because of the freshmen? We seem to have struck out on our top guys. If we get two. If we got two of Chaz, Keaton, and Byard, okay. So see, I would disagree, and you probably said this before we kind of like went through everything. So number one, I think that Chaz, he's a guy that has been hyped up a lot. I think that he's good, but I think that he's been overhyped. I think that the kid Wilson, right? He's a lot better than Chaz Coleman. It's honestly not even close. Like he is on a. Like he would be tier 1 right now. I would say Chaz Coleman is tier 2. You know, like there's a lot of separation there, like in a lot of different ways. So I would disagree on that one. Now, look, I don't think that I don't know that we're going to target or that we can get Damon Wilson up on a visit, but I'm sure that they're going to try. It won't be from a lack of trying. So there's still hope there. Then as far as Keaton, so Keaton was the linebacker, right? Look, I think that Keaton's good, but Campbell, to me, is just as good, if not better, especially because he's already played inside of this system. So you could call that a push if you want to. But, I mean, I'm really leaning more towards, even outside of knowing the system, that Campbell might really be better. You know, but Campbell wasn't in the transfer portal whenever Keaton was number 1 on our big board, right? But now, like, once he entered into the portal, you know, now we know, okay, wow, well, yeah, this changes things. And then as far as Byard, so Byard I think is good. We've talked about him. You know, I think that very physical player. I think that his coverage was going to be pretty good, but is he an overall better player than the kid from Kansas Rawls? I don't think so. Is he better than some of the other names that are out there? Because P and I, we've told y'all there's more safeties out there that can really, really ball that we haven't really talked about, or that maybe some of the insiders haven't really talked about. So there's still really good options. And then too, the kid from Penn State, which he's not up here because I don't know that we've set a visit up with him yet. But King Mac, I think that he's probably better than the kid Byard. I do. I think all around just better player. So that's why I'm saying that I would disagree. I think that there's actually better players that are out there at this point than what we knew about to kind of like start things off. All right, so this was saying, dang it, always coming in late, bro. But hey, look, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Like it's cool for you to come in late. We're just happy that you're joining us, dog. So Austin is saying that Chaz Coleman used LSU and Tennessee to drive up. Yeah, I think so. I love Adam Trick. Yeah, I think that in all honesty, y'all, from what I've seen on film, Adam Trick actually looks better than Chaz Coleman. Now, and I'm talking about just like from last year's film. The thing about Chaz is that he's young and you know that he's gonna grow and he's gonna get better. But y'all, just trust me when I tell you, Chaz Coleman, like I think that we'll end up losing Chaz, but I don't think that that's not a huge deal anymore. It was a bigger deal for me earlier today, but now that I'm seeing all these other names out there, I'm like, whoa, I mean, we could definitely take this to a totally different level. So JPad, okay, hell yeah. Um, thank you for that, man. Thank you so much for that. All right, so we have to hold on to Jordan Ross and let him eat. Banks having him in coverage constantly last year. Yeah, yeah. I think that in this system, if it's 4-2-5, the Leos will be rushing a lot more. If it's more of the 3-3-5, they will be doing different things, right? They most definitely will be. All right, so Tin Balls is asking, am I hearing anything about the quarterback situation at all? Joey Ty. Okay, thank you so much for that segue because it is time for us to move on to that. So let me bring this thing back. Number one, what I can tell y'all is that from what I've heard, and don't shoot the messenger, y'all, it's just from what I've heard from people very, very close to the program, is that the expectations really like Joey Aguilar's not coming back. That's what I've heard. Even if he gets the extra year, he's done, right? So he's not coming back. And Tennessee has to go to the portal to get another quarterback. This is what I've heard. Now, does it mean that it's 100% right? Not necessarily, but I can tell you that I've heard that from more than one source, from sources that might not even be necessarily tied to one another. This is the general thought. Okay, so it is time for us to move on, right? We had to go and try to find someone else. And that brings me to this right here, something that we talked about yesterday with Ty Simpson. What I've also heard is that this Ty Simpson thing is very, very real, very real. And I'm sure that most of y'all know that at this point. He's looking to see what is his NFL draft stock like, right? So this is the graphic that we looked at yesterday, just showing you what the difference in yearly salary is for NFL players, right? From round to round. Okay, if you dive deeper into this, what most people are saying is that he would be maybe like the third quarterback taken. So maybe anywhere from possibly number 15 in the first round to like the end of the first round. If he goes at number 15 for the 2026 NFL draft, he would make about $4.5 million. He can come to Tennessee, I think, and make more than that. I think that we could pay him 5. So things, and he grew up a huge Tennessee fan. We all know that. I think that things are really lining up. That, and look, I haven't talked to him. So yeah, I'm sure that he probably wants to go on to the league. I'm not saying that he's not going to the league, but I just want for y'all to know that it's a stronger possibility than I feel like some people are putting out there. And whenever you're hearing Oregon, I think that Oregon's being brought up as a kind of like a leverage play to potentially, like it's been brought up before, maybe drive the price up some. I'm sure that he does like Oregon, but I think that that's kind of what that is. Now, I've also heard that Dante Moore might not go pro. If that happens, then I would say that it's pretty much slam dunk that Ty Simpson will be going pro because then he moves up to the number 2 overall quarterback. But the other thing that's so crazy about it is that we're so far away from the draft. There's a lot of things that still have to take place. Of course, they've seen all of the game film. They're still combing through that. They'll watch it closer. But then you still have the NFL Combine. You've got your pro days. You've got the postseason all-star games, right? You've got the interviews and everything else. It is a very long process. So for him to be looking for real concrete information this far out, that also to me plays in maybe Tennessee's favor. Maybe. It could also really play more in like the opposite way where, hey, he's going to go to the NFL because he feels like, hey, man, I've got a first round grade. It's probably not going to drop too much. I know that I look good on the whiteboard and all of that. I know that I'm going to do well at these postseason combines and all that type of stuff. Or maybe he looks at it like, you know what? Things could just go backwards for me if I go to this stuff and, I'm going to miss out on this opportunity. I don't know exactly what he's thinking. All that I am saying is I would say that I think it's a higher probability than what people are letting on that Todd Simpson could really be Tennessee's quarterback for 2026. I really, really, really sincerely do, just based off of what I've heard. But biggest takeaway, y'all, like what I'm more sure about is that Joey is not coming back. Again, I can't say it for sure, but I've heard it from so many different sources that it probably is true, right? Like where there's smoke, there is typically fire. Something could change. Maybe Tennessee sweetens up the deal and all of that. That could always happen, but I had to make sure that I did say that. Okay, so let me come back and let me finish getting through all these chats. So what we have right here. All right, so 1000% agree with the things about T-Lander. Yeah, so if you were able to watch that breakdown with Coach Knowles talking about a system, you could tell definitely would fit very well into that system as a Leo. All right. So J-Pad saying people named Kanye lose their deals with Adidas. That's too funny, man. And so I might be saying his name wrong too, because I heard somebody say it differently, but to me, that looks like Kanye. All right. Yeah, J-Pat is a fool. All right, so this right here from Henry saying that I want Lyric. I love his name, and yeah, man, Lyric is a good name. Lyric is a good name. I actually had a friend growing up. It was a girl, but her name was Lyric, and she was super dope. So it's just like positive vibes. Brian is saying still more good players hitting the portal. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that there will be more and more players that continue to hit the portal. So maybe the reason that Tennessee's been going slower is because we've been looking at players that haven't been in the portal up to this point, and we've been saying, well, you know what, we'd rather have these guys, right? Like we're going to wait because we don't necessarily love what's out there at this point. And I love that type of strategy, man. Like go and get the absolute best of the best. All right, so this right here is from Cam J. Appreciate this, Cam J. Bull Carter destination. Also, Gibson sucks for leaving. So let me play this clap. Let me play this clip for you real quick, bro. Thank you, Cam. So I have no idea where Boo's gonna end up at. In all honesty, I haven't heard anything about that situation. So I don't know. I hope that he gets things right. I don't wish bad on any of these kids. But I'm happy that we're moving forward, and I just hope that we get players that are going to give their all for the University of Tennessee moving forward, man. That's really all that I could ask for. So Tin Vols saying that he would have loved to get Joey. Yeah. And so look again, y'all. I'm not saying that is 100%. I'm going to say it with about 90. I usually say 95% certainty. I'm going to say it with about 97.5% certainty. All right. That's how I'm gonna say that. So Austin saying that he just saw today that Miami is fixing to throw $5 million at Todd Simpson. Yeah, so see, that's gonna be a problem because it is gonna be, I think, sort of a bidding war. But the positive thing is that Tennessee's in a good spot from the standpoint of he grew up a huge Tennessee fan. He's already gone and went somewhere else, and I just think that Tennessee's got a lot of, I don't know if I want to say leverage, but I think that Tennessee's in a really, really good spot. But if we gotta go. See, he's a guy that I would spend the money on. Like, dude, if you got to get up to $6.5 million, if it's me, I'd try to go find that money because I think that he's worth it. I had a graphic. I don't know if we have it in this stream today, but just showing like quarterback speed. And Todd Simpson was clocked at 21 point, I think, 6 or 0.2 miles per hour. So as a point of reference, the fastest guy that I had looked at was Arch Manning at 23.1. Source speed was at 22.2, I think, or 22.1. And of course, he's 6'3", 235, which is crazy. But I don't think that he was quite that big when he ran that fast. Might have been closer to about 215, 220, because that was from his earlier years. He wasn't that fast this season. And then who else do we have up there? Chambliss was at like 20.8 miles per hour. Joey this year was at 18.8 miles per hour. The kid from East Carolina was at 18.6. So people talked about how he's, the kid from East Carolina, Hauser, how he's really fast. He's not as fast as Joey was this year. But Joey previously, and in some different years, I think maybe his first year at App State was at like 19.2 miles per hour. It was something like that. So just as like a point of reference, the whole point is that Ty Simpson can run. Like he can for real run. Because like once you're talking about 21 miles per hour, that's like, secondary speed. You know what I mean? Like that's moving. And he can obviously throw. He can make all the throws. Didn't have a very good offensive line last season. Had pretty much no run game. The offensive system at Alabama was very vertical heavy, kind of like Tennessee. But I do think that our system is a lot more quarterback friendly than the Alabama system is. He threw the football into some very tight windows. We might do like a whole film breakdown on that as we get closer to time. If we hear more smoke about, maybe Ty wants to stick around, of course, we're going to be breaking that down. And that's more than likely going to be for members only. So y'all definitely want to sign up and join us as members. All right, so Brian, yeah, so Mestamaker already signed with Oklahoma State. Okay, yeah, so Mestamaker, he was another one. I really, really liked him. I thought that he was good. So Sam is saying that we'd have $8 to $9 million in the quarterback room. Yeah, seems like too much to me unless your roster is 50 million overall. You could be right on that. I mean, look, and you could be right about all of that. Like the total roster might be close to about 50 million, but I think that it would make sense to do it if you're bringing in a Ty Simpson, because Ty Simpson is super, super good. I know that there's people that feel however they feel about him. I think a whole lot of that is just from like personal reasons, just to keep it real with you. I think that most of that's on like a personal level. So if you really watch him play, he's very freaking good, which also makes me feel like, hey, maybe he does go on to the league. I'm still not saying that he won't, but I think that it's just a higher chance than what some people are letting out there publicly that he will actually come back and play at Tennessee. I think that smoke is like super real. That's some thick smoke. All right, let me see. What else do we got? All right, so Gryffindor is saying that but for $5 million, we could get like 4 elite defensive line and secondary instead. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, I guess that you could do it either way. I mean, you could honestly do it either way. I just think that, man, quarterback is such a critical position. And I know that I've said previously, like, well, you know what? Let's just roll with George. I think that George is going to be good. I still feel that way. But if you get a quarterback of that caliber, it does change things. And I was mostly just saying it because I didn't see any quarterbacks out there of this caliber, that was even worth that type of money. But yeah, I mean, you could still, I think that we could go and address all of our needs everywhere else without necessarily as much depth. Like, we're not going to be super, super deep from, hey, we went out and got just like a bunch of freaking studs from out of the portal. And we have hopefully really good quarterback play, but they're more of like a game manager. Whereas I think that we have already really good depth, right? I think that we've got a lot of very talented youth on this team that could step up and be freaking studs. But then you go out and you add some more guys at all of the different spots that we need to. At that point, I think that you're probably deep enough. And then what you really want is a quarterback that's a true game changer. And I think that would be Ty Simpson. But it's not to say that we can still get it done to me either way. It's just about hopefully things come out here sooner rather than later on the quarterback situation. Because outside of those two, of Joey Aguilar and Ty Simpson, who is the transfer portal quarterback? I don't know. But we have to bring in somebody. Either way, well, unless Joey comes back, then we won't have to, because I think hopefully as long as everyone sticks around, right? But yeah, like you need a third quarterback on top of what we feel like we have right now. So that's my whole point. All right, so we have a new member. I'm going to get right back to you, JT, but let me get to this first. So this one is from Jonah. Jonah, thank you so much for being a member with us on YouTube. Let me play this clip for you. All right, thank you so much. So from Luke saying, good point. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it. All right, so let me because I said that I was going to get back to you, JT. Saying grab guys who have played in the nose defense. Oh yeah, I mean, I think that you definitely want to go out and do that. Like you said, if they're worth it, like 100%. What's going on? What's going on, man? Hopefully things are going well out there for you, Jonah. All right. So this one right here from Rubber Juice, and I think Ty Simpson will play with all his heart and soul at Tennessee. I do too. He's from here, and it was his dream to be a Vol. Blame Pruitt in those sanctions. Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point. 'Cause I hadn't even thought about those sanctions. But I mean, it was going to be tough. You know, like you don't want to walk into a bad situation. The situation for Tennessee looks a lot better. Also, whenever you talk about what Tennessee's doing with the offensive line, I think that adding more guys up front will be a big thing for Todd Simpson. I think that he'll see, wow, man, like they're deep. It's pretty much the entire offensive line coming back, and things look consistent there. That's a huge part of it as well. All right, so this right here is talking to JT. All right. So let me see. What else do we got? Who else do we got in here? So this one is from Bo saying that I love the offensive line. Yeah, man, Wilson. Yeah, he's got excellent size. I think that he's going to be very, very good. Who else do we got? So I'm gonna try to get to some more people. Looks like I might have missed a couple. Okay, so some of y'all talking to people. All right, so this one is from Dagan. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but saying that the longer that this plays out, the more convinced I become that Heupel is content with holding a competition between GMAC and Brandon and getting some pedestrian third stringer. You could be right. I think that it's probably something. I think it's probably something a little bit different going on, man. Like I sincerely do. I think that they do have more of a plan than what's being let out, and I think that they're trying to be hush hush about it because maybe like trying to move silent and like whatever for all of the positive things that come from moving silent. So this fan base might get kind of riled up. But like I said, man, earlier today, I was about to make a video talking about everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like Heupel, what are you doing? Who's this so-called GM? What is he doing? Go down the whole list, fire everybody. Let's just start over right now. Like mid-portal. Get them out of here. Let's start it over right now. But, yeah, things have changed significantly, and I'm starting to see that there is a trend, and that's something that, like I said, we'll talk about more. We'll talk about this more with our members here shortly at some point later on today. So this one right here, they're saying that Dane one Tennessee channel that I looked at that's popular said that Ty Words, if he doesn't go to the NFL, he's going back to Alabama. I don't know. I don't know what channel that you're talking about. It doesn't really matter to me, but I will say this. It's possible that he goes back to Bama, but that is like extremely unlikely. That's probably the least likely of all of the situations. So I don't see that happening. I don't think that he's going to go back to Alabama personally. Not really from like what I've heard. All right, so this one from Austin, saying that this is off topic, but have I seen Ty's brother Graham Simpson? So, I still haven't watched him. And, I tried to, I had thought about doing it, but I had too many things kind of like lined up that I had to knock out. But it's something that I'll try to do at some point today. But so, no, I have not seen him, but he won the state championship at Westview, and he's going into his junior year, and he can sling it. Yeah, man, everyone keeps on saying that, so I'll have to definitely check him out. So Sugar Slim is saying that let Brandon rock out. He's the reason that, yeah, I really like Faison. Really do. I don't know if he'd be ready as a true freshman, though. I think that would be a very tall order for a true freshman to come in with this team, especially with all of the implications with Coach Heupel's job really still on the line. So this right here from Let's Talk About It, saying I think Tennessee strikes out this portal, then asks the fan base to pay an increased talent fee. I don't think that's going to happen at all because if they strike out on this portal, I mean, people will probably end up getting fired, and if Danny White doesn't pull the trigger, he's fired too. So, I don't really see that happening. I don't think that we have like a money problem. And that's what really was pissing me off earlier is that I know that we have money. We have money. So if we're not pulling in players, the reason is not because of money, or it's not because of lack of funds. Are we being too tight or like whatever? But like I said, it feels like things are really trending in a very positive way at this point. Let me get to this super chat. Thank you so much for this one way saying that they love the show. And I would say to you, thank you and go Vols. Let me play this clip. Thank you, thank you. And so this right here is saying that y'all love Nico too. I don't know if you're talking about me, but I did. I was very high on Nico. I still think that Nico, from a talent standpoint, is very very good. But I'm not quite sure what you're getting at there, if you're talking to me or what. But one of the things that I will actually talk about, since you kind of like brought that up and I guess like opened up the door for this conversation, is for those of y'all that want to hold on to Joey Aguilar, I totally get it because he had a very good season. But as I've said, he did some good things, definitely showed the grit, showed the toughness and all of that. Just understand that there is a higher level that Tennessee can go from, even in like an operational standpoint. There sincerely is. I think that a lot of the success that we saw in our passing game was because Tennessee totally changed up our offensive system, especially within the passing game, from the previous years. So we came out with a new system, and teams had to figure out, okay, like, what are they doing here? It took them halfway through the season. This is something else that we've talked about several times. Halfway through the season, teams started to figure out what we're doing, but we didn't have any counters, and we didn't. Sometimes, the quarterback made some plays. Sometimes he was not able to make the plays. We also had some just throw it up down the field and double coverage and things like that worked earlier in the year versus really like lesser competition. Brazel snatching it, Staley and Matthews snatching it. But once you get into more SEC play, you got to be able to fit it into some tighter windows. Now, again, Joey did that some, but I'm gonna tell you who did it on a like ridiculous level is Todd Simpson. Like, he's on the run, dropping dimes 45 yards down the field in like double and triple coverage in a window the size of like a little bit bigger than a football. That's very hard to replicate that, man. That is a very special skill that most people just don't have. And that's just the truth. And he can also run, and, like someone else brought up, he loves Tennessee. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. So it's not a shot at Joey, because I also love Joey. But also, like we said, I don't think that Joey's coming back. So kind of like I guess like moot point. Okay. So somebody's in here being a negative. All right, so this one said, okay, so you was probably talking more about Faison. So if Brandon earns the #1 spot, yeah, and this is something else that I'm huge on, and we talked about it. Let it be a real open competition, and we talked about that yesterday. Teams that are good, teams that win championships, it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or whatever. The best players play, and that's got to be what the standard is. So I'm gonna get to some more of these. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I figured that you wasn't talking to me, but I had to bring it up anyway because I know that some people were probably thinking that, and I just wanted to like make my case and why I'm saying what I'm saying. But so Tin Balls, okay, so he's on the same page with me. The 2026 season seems to be the end of Coach Heupel's grace period. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I don't know about necessarily making it to a conference title game. I think that we could. Well, okay, yeah. So if we don't get to the playoffs, I could actually even see some grace being had with Coach Heupel if we don't do either one of those things. If things trend where we're not as fundamentally, like, we need to be more fundamentally sound, right? Where we're not missing a whole bunch of tackles. There's not a whole bunch of false start penalties. It looks like we're showing more competence. I think that, like, I could see us maybe having some grace, because the schedule is probably going to be tougher, excuse me. That's something that we'll know a lot more about as we get deeper into this portal. All right, so this one's saying it's time to move on from Joy. Okay, yeah, so you're on the same page with me. All right, so Will Penn is a new member. Thank you so much for that, Will. Man, we got a whole bunch of people joining us today. Love it. Let me play this clip. Awesome, man. Love it. So let me get to this one from Tin Vols, saying he did like Nico. He was our first huge, yes, he was. And he was at the school for 2 years with a lot of hype. All the analysts were high on him. And yeah. I think that he was definitely wrong, especially the way that he left. Let me also say that, he got some people just led him wrong, man. And I'm sure that if he could do it over, he would have stuck with Tennessee. I think that there's no question about that. Let me get to this super chat. So this one is from, I hope that I'm saying this right, Mezzi. All right, so Mezzi likes the show. Thank you for that. Saying that we got to start building like these other teams in the portal. It's okay to get high school players, but teams are building with proven players. Yeah, and let me play this clip for you, big dog. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think that you still have to have a balance, but yeah, it makes sense to go out to the portal and to try to find as many people, I guess, as you can that are veterans, because it is such a kind of like a short leash these days. You know what I'm saying? Like where you really want to be able to win as quick as possible, and it is easier doing that with people who are proven, who are older, who have been inside of a weight room and all of that type of stuff for longer. All right, so this one right here from JT Lynn, saying he wasn't talking to me, just saying that we need to keep realistic expectations, or maybe you might be talking to somebody else, but yeah, for sure, yeah, I'm right there with you. Like freshman playing a quarterback is going to be tough. Definitely is, and I'm on the same page with you right here too, bro. So I'm gonna get to this one from Austin, saying that Austin knows that it's portal season, but any big time high school kids left on our big board out there for National Signing Day for the 2026 class. I don't think that there's anybody. It's nobody that I know of. I think that the 2026 class is probably wrapped up, and maybe some things could is signing day over with. Yeah. So all of the kids that I think that everyone's probably signed at this point. So I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that because I know that some guys could come up early. Most guys did come up early, but then there's some other ones that won't graduate early, so they can't come up to Tennessee early. But I think that everyone is. I want to say that everyone's signed at this point, so probably not. Yeah, it's probably not anybody left. But y'all, that is going to do it, man. I just want to come in here and give y'all an update. It's probably going to be more. Obviously, the basketball team plays tonight. That's going to be really late, so I don't know if I'll be able to go live for that, maybe like pregame, but possibly. I really want to see how they play tonight before I speak on it, because that last game, it's a lot of things. I hate being negative all the time. You know, I want to be able to keep it real, but if everything that I do is negative, then it's like, you know, sometimes if you don't have anything nice to say, you just don't say anything. And I'm kind of like at that point with the basketball team. There's several positives, but anyway, if we don't talk to y'all on YouTube later on tonight, then we'll be talking to y'all, I'm sure, tomorrow. If there's some huge updates from the portal, then we will come back. But outside of that, members, we're gonna have something that comes out for y'all here within like the next couple of hours or so. So let me get to this to these last few chats right here from Austin, saying that February 4th. Oh, okay. So yes, that's right. February 4th is the National Signing Day. I haven't heard of anybody. I think that what we do inside of the portal would maybe dictate, do we want to add anybody else? But I think that we're probably, from where I'm sitting at, from all the needs that I felt like Tennessee had for 2026, I think that we're probably fine. Let me get to JPAT. Oh, I'm sorry. This is this is from JT Lynn, saying that in this era of NIL, if you stay in the portal and slack on the high school stuff, you stay in the portal, you're buying your roster and build no depth. Yep. And Rick Barnes teams hit their stride in February. Yeah. Yep. So we still got time for sure. Vols basketball, hit your free throws and layups. There it is. Like, that's the biggest thing. I'm not very happy with how we're shooting, especially not very happy with the like free throw stuff. But y'all, let me actually get to this last one right here. This will be the last one. This is from Cajun Vol. So I'd be interested in my Bruno Rouse thoughts if I get a chance to. Yes, for sure. So I'm gonna try to take a look at them and see what I think about them, and maybe for like the next stream or for the next show, I'll be able to give you an update on that. But thank y'all so much, man, and we'll be talking to y'all either later on today or tomorrow. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all. Thanks. Peace.